You guys hit on something earlier about going. I want to just quickly touch on it about possibly going back to sort of the old-fashioned way of doing things. And when we reference that for the audience, I think it's there's been a lot of talk about contextual advertising coming back, or focusing more on keyword terms or different versions of that in the past. So, I mean, Tina, have you had discussions with clients about that? Where are their heads as it relates to sort of going back to some of the tried and true fundamental ways of more quote unquote traditional digital approaches?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We spoke about this yesterday too. I think that's really where we need to be thinking, right? Or what are some other ways of executing digital and getting at people that we know are interested in what we're serving, right? I mean, that is sort of how digital started. We know that someone is reading an article about this, adventure travel, and the inference is they are likely interested in potentially traveling. And, so being able to think about getting in front of new customers, based on tried and true methods of serving digital, I think that's really where we need to be thinking. Is third-party audiences have, been kind of the way of marketing in the past couple of years, certainly from a programmatic standpoint. Mm-hmm. It went into Facebook as well until they took it out. But, it's hard to figure out what people are doing across different devices, across different channels. Finding, identity graphing is difficult. But if you can understand what people are doing at given points online, you can certainly get in front of them and make sure that your brand is serving.
Right time, right place, right context.
Right time, right place.
Right. And do you feel like, are your clients, is that something that's resonating with them, or are they really looking for the replacement solutions from an identity standpoint to try and continue that more targeted, or it could be a combination of both?
I think it's really about testing and showing results, right? Clients want results. They care. They certainly care about what you're doing with their money, but they want to make sure that it's performing. And so at the end of the day, if we're driving bookings, we're driving reservations, we're driving the conversion that they care about, that core KPI, that's really what we're trying to do for them. And whether that's through contextual or that's through a lookalike model of data that we have because we're leveraging their CRM, mm-hmm. or if it's with another data partnership that we're bringing in and we're leveraging that data, second, third party, whatever it happens to be, as long as it's driving the results and we can consistently show that, that's, I think, what matters. And, Joe made a good point about constantly testing. I think that's going to be incredibly important in the next 12 to 18 months to really understand which data segments are working and what we should be looking at going forward.
Yeah, makes sense. We always internally at ADARA, we always, try to make sure that we're all asking what the client's goal is, what the objective is. It depends upon the use case ultimately. Joe, from where you sit, you hear from folks internally from different account teams, from your client-facing teams. Are people looking at the, going back to some of the tried and true, or maybe some version of the tried and true, being able to find audiences through context, or at least some version of it, or
I think it depends on the job security of the person that's asking the question, to be blunt, because like at the end of the day, we'll talk to, when you end up talking to like CMOs, I think like what the average CMO job lasts now like 40 months or something like that. So we're talking about, so it's like, okay, what am I trying to do here? Am I really trying to provide results? Or because like I can spin it both ways. I can say, hey, listen, this is the best. You can just keep doing this. But then that makes you, like I was saying before, then it's like, why am I here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like we're trying to do is give people an intelligent way to talk about the way that they're constantly exploring their marketing so that they don't get stuck. And you know what I mean? So I would always argue like, hey, you can always go backwards, like, cause like people know how to do that. They're not going to forget how to ride a bike. But if you're not testing moving forward, so that you can, like, you know, it's like you hear all the top CEOs say like, oh, we want to fail fast and then move on. That's what I think that we're really trying to get brands on board with. It's just that that process is not fast yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's like getting people to like approve a budget that's not happening in for like 3 months, and then you're waiting to run this one test and then it doesn't work, or it's not done the right way, and you can explain it to the client. But you really want to make sure that before, you know, and I would say that most clients, before they go and make a big change, you know, it's a learning process for them. So you want to make sure that they're learning with you, and so that they're part of that conversation, because it doesn't do any good for someone to completely trust you, let you go out if they don't understand what you're doing. And, you know, a lot of what we're trying to preach right now is like transparency in all the data that we're sending you. So if you actually, client A, you know, you want to sit down and understand exactly how we built this custom audience for you, we can walk you through how we did it. You know what I mean? Like, good luck getting any other data company to do that for you. But we're building audiences using combinations of different data sets, and to the point where the client actually has access to us showing them exactly what the workflow that went into making that audience for them. And then that's where they're starting to trust more, is because they know that it's no longer a black box. And, you know, I think that that's the most important thing for a lot of the brands moving forward and coming out of this, is like, actually, no, like, you know, I mean, we know that, you know, we used to, you know, there's that old quote, you know, I know that 50% of my advertising works, I just don't know which 50%.
Right.
We thought we would have solved that by now. I would bet, when, you know, if you had asked these people this question 10 years ago, I would say that maybe we know where 55% of that success is now. So we're getting better and we're moving in the right direction, but there's still a long ways to go. You know, cross-screen measurement, you know, like, just to be, you know, is still, we're in its infancy. So we're gonna have to figure a lot more out.
Yes.